Imagine standing atop Mount Olympus, thunder rumbling under your feet, lightning bolts sizzling through the sky, and yet, somewhere in that electrified air, you realize something chilling. The king of gods, Zeus himself, is not the master of the universe. What if I told you the stories of Olympus are just that, stories, that behind every bolt of thunder, every divine decree, there lurks a force so old and absolute that even the gods bow in silence? Welcome, seekers of forgotten truths. Today, we're diving deep beneath the shimmering surface of Greek mythology to uncover the hidden foundation of fate itself, Ananke, the goddess who terrified even Zeus. But before we begin, pause for a moment. Picture all the times you faced something inescapably, a moment you simply had to endure, a decision forced upon you by circumstance, a destiny you couldn't alter, no matter how hard you tried. That, in its purest form, is the domain of Ananke. So, settle in, because by the end of this story, you'll never see mythology your own life feed the same way again. If you love exploring untold legends, mysterious deities, and the real forces that shape our stories, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. This is one episode you won't want to miss. When we think of power in myth, we think of Zeus, the king, the stormbringer, the lawmaker. But think about it, power that depends on spectacle, always vulnerable. In our world, we've all seen leaders who appear strong but are only holding on to borrowed authority. Perhaps it's a CEO who commands attention, but is actually at the mercy of the stock market, or a celebrity adored by millions, but haunted by public opinion. Zeus was like that, a king, yes, but only of his own mountain. But true power is subtler. It's the force that defines the rules of the game before anyone steps onto the field. The Greeks understood this. Beneath every mythic battle, behind every heroic quest, there's a deeper current, inevitability. Enter Ananke. She doesn't throw lightning bolts or raw commands. She doesn't appear at the climax of legends, demanding worship. She simply is the absolute, silent law of necessity. The ancients didn't even picture her as a being at first. Ananke was more like gravity, or time, something you can't see, but which shapes everything you do. When I first read about Ananke, it hit me. Every story we tell about fate, every line in a play about destiny or duty, echoes her influence. She's the chain that binds not just mortals, but the gods themselves. Even today, when we talk about no way out situations or it was meant to be, we're speaking the language of Ananke. Let's travel back far beyond Zeus, beyond the Titans, to the very first breaths of the universe. The Greeks believed that before everything, there was a void, a silence so complete it was almost frightening. It wasn't empty, it was pure potential, a moment pregnant with possibility. Out of this, the first forces emerged, not gods with egos and personalities, but primal truths. Ananke appeared not with a bang, but a whisper of quiet certainty that some things simply must be. In the Orphic tradition, she and Kronos, the personification of time, coiled around the cosmic egg, squeezing it until the universe exploded into being. It's an image both beautiful and terrifying. Creation as pressure, not as art. Think about the pressures that create things in your own life, the hard choices that force you to grow, the limits that spark your creativity. Every birth, whether of a star or a new idea, requires some kind of necessity. If Zeus was the star quarterback, Ananke was the rulebook. You can play the game as hard as you want, but you can't play outside the boundaries. The ancient poets and philosophers understood this. Simonides wrote, "Even the gods don't fight against Ananke." To the Greeks, this was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It's like learning that no matter how successful you are, there are still rules you cannot bend. Even the gods have a boss, and she doesn't negotiate. Consider the story of Oedipus, a man who did everything possible to avoid his fate, only to fulfill it in the end. Or think of modern stories, a company ignoring changing technology, only to be left behind, or someone who tries to outrun their past, but finds it waiting for them at every turn. These stories aren't about punishment, they are about necessity, the law that some things simply have to happen. So what can we learn from Ananke? that accepting limits is not weakness, it's wisdom. The Greeks didn't worship Ananke, they respected her. They understood that real freedom comes not from breaking every rule, but from working within the boundaries of existence. The next time you face something unavoidable, remember, even the gods knew when to bow their heads. There's peace, even strength, in accepting necessity and in making the most of what can't be changed. If you found this journey into forgotten myth and hidden power as fascinating as I did, make sure to subscribe for more stories like this. Share your own thoughts. Have you felt the hand of necessity in your life? And remember, behind every legend, there's always a deeper truth waiting to be discovered.